There we go. Great evening. I am the dynamic, daring, one of a kind diva Denise Silas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time here, we welcome you to the Empowered by DS Let's Talk About It Tuesday. We encourage you to engage with us in the chat. If this is your first time here, then go ahead and put first time in here. Please let us know where you are tuning in from. I am in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and excited to be here with you guys. See some new names. So welcome, welcome, welcome. What I'm going to do, we love to let people know who we are as in the host, Empowered by DS, and then we will get into it with our interview with our repeat offender. So let me get over here, share this. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2026. It seems like it's moving slow, but I'm happy about it. I am happy about it. Trying to get some things going on. We've had a lot going on already in 2026. So let's see here. So yeah, so please, yes, put in the chat where you tune in from. Put in the chat who invited you as well. We're glad that you are here. So who is Empowered by DS? Empowered by DS. I'm the DS of the DS, Denise Silas. These are my two amazing daughters. Collectively, what we do is our mission to empower women to be the best version of themselves. We host different experiences that we hope that you will engage with us in 2026. If you have not yet experienced our this Let's Talk About It Tuesday is one of the many things that we do. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that we do. So this is pretty much a weekly event. If it's, I think since March, we may have not had a Let's Talk About It Tuesday, maybe 2 or 3 times at the most. So we are pretty much here. If my system works, if we're not here, you'll get some communication from that number. That 662 number is the number that I connect with you on, and I'm definitely going to call my provider and ask her what's going on. We are doing some new things in regarding our book that we normally read that's coming up, so I'm excited about that. We have what's called Diva Dinner and Dialogue. What that is, it's like our social Divas Night Out, but through conversation, we connect and create community as well. And then quarterly, we have a empowerment workshop. So the difference between the Diva Dinner and Dialogue and the empowerment workshop, the Diva Dinner and Dialogue is really about us coming together collectively, creating community through conversation and hidden topics. But the empowerment breakfast is really about you being your best. It's personal and professional development. We always kick off one in January. We do a retreat in April, which is part of our empowerment series. Then in July, we do a virtual mid-year. And then at the end of the year, we do a final lap. So it's really about just helping you to continue to grow, to be able to identify gifts, nurture gifts. So that's what we do with that. We also have a quarterly subscription box where there's some changes coming up in 2026, but the whole purpose of that box is to give you the opportunity to stay focused on something, a desire of your heart, and to see that to fruition. So you'll have a personalized journal in there. That journal is really a 12-week journal to really say, hey, what activities do I need to do specifically towards getting to my goal? We also yearly, in April, we're going to do another Escape to Empower Me. That's just where I grab the women up, take them somewhere close, and then give them the opportunity to just kind of reset, relax, connect with some other women, and have a good time as well. So we went to Nashville last year, and this year we'll be going to Birmingham. Towards the end of the year in September, every year we do a Feel the Chill in the Hottest Hills for ovarian cancer awareness. That's something that's very dear to me. My sister passed in 2011. And so every year we have been honoring her in her memory and raising money and bringing awareness for ovarian cancer. In And then our way of giving back is our adopted grandparent. We have been doing that for 12 years, and we're able to help bless low-income seniors in northern Mississippi. And in a year, it ranges from about 250 seniors to over 400 seniors that we're able to bless through the partnership of our Decide Tribe, as well as individuals in the community. And we end our year with our vision to victory. It's the goal that you stay with me all year long, that you're constantly being empowered, and what you was dreaming about and creating as a goal poster, a resolution, vision board, however you want to say it. But the whole goal is to get you to victory. So we take it to the end of the year. We will be having a big announcement on Thursday. There is some great things that are happening. We're very excited about it, and nervous. So if you are not excited and nervous about doing something new, you have not stretched yourself enough. And I promise you, we are stretching ourselves. So hopefully you are like me. This is the year to do it bigger, better, and greater, because we serve a bigger, better, and greater God. So stepping truly into it. So be looking out for that announcement on Thursday. Here are some of our dates. The most important date, just the very one that's coming up next. If you're local to us, we're having our annual Galentine's Diva Dinner and Dialogue. So we do have a new location. That information should be coming out also on Thursday. We learned that bigger is not better in the environment that we were creating a community. So we have kind of downsized, but I'm excited about that intimate space that we're going to have. And the beautiful thing about it is that you have to, it's limited seating. So with that, you get it in and you're going to have a great time. And I'm excited about the opportunity to have more of a deeper connection when we have the events versus always having to rush through because we have so many people. So we're really trying to be focused this year and really giving some really good and intense time together so that we can all grow in this year of 2026. So you will have tonight on my Keysha as our guest, but this month what I wanted to do is to celebrate some of the ladies in Decide Tribe that I've been able to watch them grow this year, doing some phenomenal things, and just really talk about it since this is January. A lot of times people don't do resolutions, which is crazy to me when they be anti-resolution. I was like, ain't they just having a goal? Like, what's the big deal? But I know a lot of times people set goals in January and by February they're off focus, right? So because I've watched them continue to be focused through life happening, I just wanted them to kind of share some real deals, some real tips with you. And Keisha's going to kick it off this on tonight. So it is not too late for those of you who are new. In addition to doing this, I am an empowerment coach. I am very passionate about sitting with women and really helping them to identify how they can activate their now to be able to create their next. So if you are in a season where beginning the year, not really sure what you should be doing, have a lot of thoughts in your mind, you can't get some direction with that, I would love to talk with you with that and help you go from clarity, create your plan and a process, and really get some really good results that you can reflect on and be able to evaluate as well. So you can hit me at empoweredbyds.com. You can also just hit me via email, empoweredbyds@gmail. And even if you want to just have a conversation to see if this coaching hour is something that you would do that would be a benefit from you based on what you're trying to accomplish, we can do that as well. Check out all things at Empowered by DS. We have to do some updating on it, but it kind of shows you what some of the things that we have done in this last year and kind of give you an idea. We're not changing a whole lot of stuff, but we are definitely getting narrowing our focus so that we can make an impact. Because I'm a big believer, I'm not sure if you are, that it's not how many people it's not like we're not trying to get all the numbers. We're just really trying to get a good impact. So check us out on there. Also follow us on all platforms. We have a Facebook group called the Side Tribe as well. So you can connect with us that way as well. Um, so yes, now it's time. So if you have jumped on since, because I know I was mentioning before everybody got on, I discovered that some of the texts that I sent out, you guys may not have received. So the last one, excuse me, I think more people received that last one. So this is before I bring her up and before I read her bio. I just want to show you some of the photos, introducing you to Keysha. Now, she probably have more than this: licensed child care provider, entrepreneur, certified life coach, but I know she's specialized in emotional intelligence. So it's several things that can be listed. Like all of us, we have a whole lot. You know, the second baby haven't been born yet. I know she has one grandchild, Paisley. The other one is about to make his appearance real soon. So, and we're a sister in Christ. We serve on the same house team at church as well. So, just want to share with you some of her flyers and her information. If you are in the Memphis area, her childcare is in the Memphis area. We'll end up coming back to this as well. But I'm so excited for her because we have been talking about this since 2018, I believe, and just to see it come to fruition. So just wanted to share with you you are able to see somebody's dream coming into reality as well. So just wanted to share a few with the babies. Look at the babies and fat old cheeks. So, and then her making a decision to get her life coaching certificate. So we will come back, but I'm gonna go ahead and introduce. Let me bring her to the stage. Let me bring her to the stage. Whoa, a lot of people got the information now. At 8 o'clock, I was like, something's wrong. I'm the only one on here. Something is really wrong. so welcome. If this is your first time, please put it in the chat. Please tell us where you are tuning in from as well. This helps us to come on the stage with you. Why won't it let me? Am I on there already? I don't realize it. Give me 1 second. And there we go. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Yes, please put in chat. Also, throughout this conversation that we're about to have, if you have any questions, put them in chat. I'll keep going back and forth and checking it out as well. So, because the whole purpose of this is to give you hope, encouragement, understanding that we know life be lifing, but you do not have to give up on what is going on. And I left my doggone notebook in the other room, but we're going to work it out. But I have been thrown off for real. Welcome, you guys. So, Keysha Hall is the owner of It Takes a Village Daycare and Parent Resource Center in Memphis, Tennessee. This work is more than a business to her. It is a calling placed on her heart. She is deeply committed to providing a safe, loving, and nurturing environment where children can grow emotionally, socially, and spiritually, where families feel supported, valued, and encouraged. At It Takes a Village, she believes that raising children truly takes a village. In addition to providing high quality childcare, she offers wraparound services to support families beyond the classroom, helping to strengthen homes and improve quality of life. Her approach is rooted in compassion, faith, and belief that every child is created with purpose and deserves to be nurtured with care and attention. While she's new to owning a daycare, she brings over 20 years of experience as a public school educator, along with a lifelong passion for teaching children and supporting parents. She's a licensed child care provider and a certified life coach, which allows her to serve families holistically, meeting both practical and emotional needs. Do you have it in here about the emotional intelligence piece? Why you never put that in there? Tell you to put that in there. Okay. She's a proud mother of 2 adult children, DJ 30, Honoree 24, and a son-in-law. She's a grandmother to a beautiful, smart, and sassy granddaughter with a grandson on the way. Being a parent and grandparent has further strengthened her heart for families and reinforced her belief that this work is a blessing. She considers it an honor and privilege to walk alongside the families as she served and to be a part of the village, helping them raise strong, emotionally healthy children. So, welcome all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. Hi, Keysha Hall. Yay! Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Woo-hoo. So, for
Hey.
those of you who have been on several times, it's going to be just a little bit different than what we normally do because it's really going to be an interview with Keisha. And I'll tell you guys, I think the first time I met her, it was at a Bible study. And it
Mhm.
was a Bible study on leadership. If you know anything about me, I'm like a fanatic for learning about leadership and even more with John Maxwell. So ended up going to the class and end up having a teacher class because um, our instructor's mom got ill. And then from there, she trusted me enough to want to do another leadership class with me. And from then, you guys, she has talked about it takes a village, it takes a village. I mean, has talked about that since literally, no exaggeration, since 2018 that I have had that conversation. And when I tell you guys, I get gobbups just to see it now, to see somebody hold on to a dream that long, you guys, that's amazing. And then to see it to come and her passion for it. So she knows I am probably one of her number one cheerleaders when it comes to this because of this, to see it roll out in any way that I can support her. She knows that I'm there for her. But I also, being in the role that I have as the owner of I'm Empowered by DS and having the opportunity to have so many experiences with the women, I learn a little bit more about them. So to see them grow, having kind of um, the behind the scenes, as I'm trying to say, the behind the scenes, then, when you see stuff happening, it means, have even more um, um, you want to celebrate it even more because you know what they have gone through. So in this season, being at the beginning of the year, when people are trying to decide, I know there's a lot of people that may have ended the year not as excited as they wanted to be. Things didn't happen. So I thought these different conversations would be great to get us started for the year. Now, I'm blessed that people just shares like good stuff with me. So Dr. Kendra has shared with me Pastor Mike 2026 word. But they were talking about, and I think this was like the perfect thing. They were talking about his 2025 word. And it was being their message was being faithful, fruitful, and focused. But this is the big part, in spite of. So when I heard that, Akeisha, I was like, you are the in spite of. So this was like perfect. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm always sending you stuff. Girl, I thought about you. Girl,
Mhm.
I thought about you. So, and you want people like that in your lives, y'all.
Mhm.
Y'all need people like that in your lives that just want to do it. So let's get this party started.
Okay.
Let me bring up my chat too, so that if there's conversation in chat, and if I get to talking and we get to talking so good and don't just holler, so hey, we'd be good with it because we want this definitely be engaging.
Yeah.
So my first question to you, if you look back on because you were at my vision board 2025, right?
Mhm.
So how did you decide which goals that you wanted to focus on this year in the year 2025?
Let me start out by saying a couple of things before we go further. I know that this is going to be a good conversation tonight, better than either one of us even imagined, because there is no way that the enemy wouldn't be trying to send that distraction to not get the word out with communication. So that's how we know that this is getting ready to be real good,
Real good.
okay? And the person or people that need to hear it, that this message would definitely go forth and land on the heart and ears that's supposed to hear it. So
Yeah.
let me start out by saying that. Now back to your question. 2025 was tough. I spent my entire 2025 year in emotional paralysis and still had to figure out how to keep going. So when I look back, like on the goals, like my goals for me were just to, in the beginning, just to concentrate on my faith because feel like I always have been unapologetic about my faith. It's near and dear to me. My relationship with God is important to me. So to concentrate on my faith, on my emotional health, and my physical health in the beginning, because I knew I was going to need that to sustain me for what I had to face in 2025. Um, and that is what those that's what started. Those were the goals. I don't know any way to put
Right.
it. My
That's
faith, emotional health, going back to therapy, and then physical health. I needed that.
you needed that, and you knew that you needed that.
I knew that there wasn't a doubt in my mind. I knew that I needed it.
So, not to assume anything, when you say emotional paralysis,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more about what that means. When you say,
So I experienced a emotional blow in 2025, going through an unexpected transition that I didn't see coming in my marriage. And it literally knocked the wind out of me because we were going from planning the rest of our life together to this. And so, when you have, and all in, while this is happening, I am also preparing to open the daycare and going through everything that it takes. Anyone who has opened a business or have a building or turn your home into a business, you understand the things that you have to go through to turn that, with the city and the county and going through inspections. And then on top of that, I had to deal with DHS because I'm a business that is now dealing with children for the state.
mhm.
So dealing with all of that, and then the emotional paralysis, of being hit with that blow that just punched me in my stomach, like having to deal with all of my emotions with that, yet still having to show up for a vision that I know that God gave me, and I couldn't abandon it. I didn't have any other choice. I didn't have another recourse. I'm not I wasn't willing to not see it through. I'm not going to say I didn't have another recourse because I'm a licensed teacher in show. So I could have easily abandoned the vision and just went back to what was familiar, but I wasn't willing to do that. In spite of the pain, I was not going to let the vision go because I knew it was something that God gave me, and I sat on it too long to not move forward.
And you knew it was the timing of it.
I knew it was.
You knew it's the
There was
timing.
never a doubt.
So, well, piece of it is when you've talked about something that long, but but with that also, why it could have just easily have been another year. I'll wait another year, right? It could
Mhm.
have easily been that.
It could have.
And I know we are going to say, it was God. So we're gonna put that out there right now. We don't even have to discuss that for the most part, right? What else do you think was important to keep you moving through to keep pushing? Because it's one thing to push on a goal, but when you have so many things that you have to make happen to make the goal happen, right?
Mhm.
You had to go through all of those evaluations. You had to go find stuff, learn more. And the mental energy of that can be very, that can be challenged. Because how many of y'all put in the chat that when you get overwhelmed, you want to go lay down,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? We just want to lay down.
Yeah.
So, and that was not an option, right?
It was.
So, when you were pushing your way through, what would you say was some of the key things that kept you going? Like, um, did you have visuals up? Did you have, like, what were some just the everyday things that you would say that matter to you?
the it was in my mind, like, as I was going through the process, I had to it's funny that you said visuals because I had to submit that, as a part of my plans and application process. So yes, I had the visuals. Things that I had to write out. Like, I really had to sit down and think about this, and coming up with the plan, because you have to submit the plan as a part of the licensure process that you have to go through with the state. So, it was right there in my face. Like, it was literally in spite of, the tears falling, I still had to keep seeing it every day because I had to make a plan because the plan had to be submitted in order for me to get across the finish line.
Right.
So it was never not a day that I wasn't seeing it, if that makes sense. I'm
Right.
not sure if that answers your question.
Right.
Like I literally
You were
had
forced to. You were
I
actually
was
forced to.
forced to. I had to walk through it every day, whatever it looked like. If it looked like, the insomnia kicked in and I couldn't sleep and the tears was falling and the pillow was wet, I still had to get up and do it because it had to be submitted. It was the only way I was going to get the license. There was no other way around it
Right.
unless I just abandoned it and put it out for another year. And I had already made up in my mind that, God, if you let it happen, if you bring this to fruition, I would do it as unto you. I'm not going to, I didn't care what happened. I wasn't going to let it go.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, I think we just answered that one. What made the goals important enough for you to
Mhm.
commit to them? I think we answered that one. As you navigated your emotionals, your emotionally through the difficult moments, like I'm sure some moments were more challenging. How did
Mhm.
you manage your feelings while still finding the strength to keep moving? How did you just manage the feelings?
So, like didn't manage it most days. So one, therapy, faith helps, Pastor Green says this and Pastor Orr does too at church. Sometimes we got to have faith and science. 2025 was one of those moments for me. I knew I already had the faith and I'm a proponent of therapy. I needed the science. The science, I needed to go to therapy and talk with a therapist, even for somebody who has a high emotional intellect. Even I needed to talk to somebody whose intellect was higher than mine because I didn't have what I needed emotionally for myself at that time. So I, knew that going to therapy ended up being a great coping skill for me because it taught me how to cope. It gave me coping skills, things that I knew, but when you're in the midst of your emotional paralysis, like you really have to understand that in the midst of your emotional paralysis, like what it really sucks out of you. Like it sucks it makes you forget, like literally it makes it leave your brain the things that the things that you have encouraged other people to do and
Right.
other when they're going through their season, how it was non-existent, like your brain just could not come up with that during your season. And that's where I was. So therapy gave me that. It gave me the coping mechanisms that I needed. And then I'm not new to working out, like that. And it took my therapist was like, you need to get up and get out the house. And I was like, you know what, you right. Because the funny thing is, um, this wasn't the first time that I've been in this space emotionally. It was the second go round. And I think that that's what made the blow even harder because in my mind, when I think that two people are growing together in something, as it turns out, it wasn't that way. Um, I can't speak for the only person, but I knew that I was growing, so I could only be responsible for me. But it made the blow even harder because it was the second go round. But when she suggested, hey, sometimes you just need to get up and go, get in nature, get sun, let the wind blow on you. And it was like the thing that clicked. And when she said that, it's like the shoes hit the pavement and I haven't stopped.
Mhm.
So the days when it was heavy, it was real heavy. Um, if I needed to do two or three a days, I did that because at that time I had no kids registered.
Okay.
So imagine that you're going through the process, waiting on the state to tell you if you've done everything and met all the requirements to get your license while trying to advertise for your business, trying to get the word out that you're getting ready to open to spark interest to get parents to come, or you're going out to reach parents. So waiting on it to be licensed, trying to market your business, having zero inquiries and zero children enrolled, all while battling this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to emphasize that you said that I want to make sure people hear, even though you knew what to do because you know you're licensed in knowing how to do emotional intelligence, like you know this stuff. You still knew enough that you couldn't do it by yourself. And I think a lot of times what people will do is they say, well, I should know what to do. I should know what to do. For whatever, based on their background, I should know what to do. So they won't seek help. And so that I think I just wanted to make sure people realize it
Mhm.
during the time, and I'm a big believer of this, when you are going through something and you're trying to figure it out by yourself, all you do is cycling your own emotional state, your own beliefs, your own. You need someone with a more objective perspective to be able to look at the scenario and say, hey, did you think about this? Hey, did you think about this? And it's not like you don't know about it. You just can't think about it. You just can't really think about it. So I'm glad you pointed that out, is when you're going through, you
Mhm.
just can't think clearly, basically. We've heard people say that, I just can't think clearly. Right, because there's so much other stuff that you were trying to process through
Mhm.
that. So you want to make sure that we allow ourselves to know that there is somebody who knows more than we do. We don't. It is okay to let somebody know more than you do when you
I
need it.
also want to, before we leave this point too, one other thing when I was thinking, back during that time, like even in all of everything that I was feeling and what I was going through, I also knew, like, once it clicked for me and I went outside and started moving again, um, like it's like a light bulb came on, and then that really encouraged me to keep pushing. And my cup was more than empty, Denise. It was depleted. I'm not even sure at that time if I even had a cup.
Mm,
It just may have been what do you call
just
it
the
that you
saucer.
put, it may have just been the saucer, and I had to go find the cup. And then I connected myself to those spaces that I needed to be in to get what I need to get something in the cup. Because at that time, it was just the saucer. That's all it was. And eventually the cup came. And then a little at a time, the
Was it?
cup was filled. Yeah.
Hopefully you felt it got to the point, Lisa, running over.
Hmm.
You had something to give, because you had to have something to give to those kids, right? So
Exactly.
you needed that as well. So that's interesting when you said about the getting yourself in the space to do that. So um and then the other thing that you said is, once she said get up and get out, that's when people say, I just don't have the energy, I just laying around. Encourage people to get up and get out. Like, drag your girlfriend up out of the house. Don't allow them to continue to say, well, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, because it's easy to get in that state. So what I'm hearing the whole time is, regardless of what's going on, you always maintain the hope. So you were fight. You just were fighting the process, so that you wouldn't get depressed, so that you wouldn't get stuck, so that you wouldn't. Because somebody over it would have said, "Girl, we understand why you are." So it would have been justifiable, right? Well, we all agree we could justify that if you weren't doing nothing. But praise God that you still had the energy. And the will to want to do something else. So were
Because
there moments?
as good as is kept in the beginning, all the only people that I had carrying that, and which were good people, was God, myself, and my therapist.
Mhm.
I went almost 3 months before I shared anything about what was happening to the people that are closest to me and the
Mhm.
people that knew I could trust. And even when they did put two and two together, they put two and two together. I never let the words come out of my mouth.
Mhm.
They just noticed that something was different. And, people just went along and said, because I never said anything, like you save face. And I was saving face for shame that wasn't even mine.
Mhm.
I was saving space for bondage that wasn't my bondage to carry in the first place. Like I wasn't bound. I was stepping out on faith and believing and walking that if God gave me the vision, He was going to make provisions.
Right.
It wasn't even my bondage, but I was carrying the shame, the guilt, things that did not belong to me. And it took me all of 2025 to realize that it was never mine to carry in the first place.
Mm.
That's a part of the reason of what made it so heavy because I was carrying something that belonged to somebody else.
So one computer, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So one computer has frozen. So I'm like, what the world's going on? Um,
That's how you know it's good. That's how you know it's good. I'm keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it.
Stop playing with me. Give me one.
Amen.
He's doing everything he can to not just so it won't go and land where it's supposed to go and land.
So wait, we just gonna have to have.
Mm.
I don't like this screen, but oh well. Um, oh please. This is this is what it is. Because I can't get the other one back up. Okay, this is what it is. But ain't this crazy? I done had 35 Zooms, 35 Zooms, and this has never happened. Okay. Now the Zoom trying to play with me. It's crazy. Um, but go wait. We okay, so we can't move on. We can't move on. We can't move on. So what made you, at what point did you realize it was not, there was no need for your shame? Was it a conversation with your therapist? You in a space and you're like, aha moment? Like how did it discover?
I, I'm gonna tell you when I realized that when the light bulb once again came back on for me is when I received a prophetic word that came straight from God from a very trusted minister. I call her my rich auntie. My sister-in-law's mom actually didn't know nothing about nothing, still doesn't know anything about anything. And God gave her a word to give to me on Thanksgiving morning. And I have not been the same since.
Mm, wow.
The things that she said to me, some of the things that she said to me, she had no clue, no idea. I had never talked to her, never shared with her. Some of what she said to me was just between me and God. I had never shared it with anybody. Really, I talked to God so much, and especially during this season, that some of it I forgot that I even said to him.
Mm,
It's how I knew that he was sending confirmation to me that it was coming directly from him. And I promise I have not been the same since.
wow. Well, praise God for her. Praise God for using her. Oh Lord, I don't like this way it looks. But let's see. Can I get back in?
Recording in progress.
Hold it. So as we wait, what's the thing here? Back in business. Now back in business. Okay. Whew, okay. So, okay, this is heavy. This this is heavy. But how well let's because you were talking about, the conversation you had with God. Had you changed in this process of trying to stay focused, staying hopeful? Had you changed anything that you were doing with your walk with God?
What this time gave me, what the space gave me in the beginning, what felt like abandonment really provided clarity where I didn't have any. It provided me the space to, the aloneness and the stillness. It gave God all the opportunity in the world to speak to me and for me to hear him clearly is what it did. Yeah, that's what it gave.
One of the things that I know you said earlier that you were you focus on your mental, your physical, and what we say, how many more pounds, and we ain't gonna be able to do nothing with you.
Listen, if I get down to 155 and build this muscle, which is now my new goal for 2026, nobody's going to have to tell me to leave the house. It will be the other way around. People will be saying, please go back in the house. Leave the house would not be.
So, how has share with people? Because I always tell people, I work out for my mental. Like I totally, and my body gets the benefit. That's my thing. So I know you said that she had encouraged you to go outside. You started walking. What would you tell people to do as far as just their physical, doing that physical activity to be able to help them manage the emotions, to be able to keep themselves focused on the desires of their hearts?
So, what the physical movement does is help you move the emotion through your body. When you don't allow the emotion to move through your body, it just stays in it and becomes dormant. And that's where the anxiety and the depression and the worrying and the replaying and all of that comes from. And it just stays with you because it doesn't have a release. So the physical, the moving, the getting out is one way to help you release that. Of course, we know that journaling is a way. That was a big thing. Like you, I'm not an avid reader, but I'm an avid listener. So my library in Audible it could be its own lifetime series by itself because I have very eclectic tastes. So some days, I just allow my emotions to speak to me, to tell me what I needed for that day. What I knew I needed every day. Again, and then I had the nerve because I run an in-home daycare to be here in this house by myself all day. On top of all that, but I survived it. Sane and in my right mind because imagine that. Being by yourself all day. Kids are grown. My daughter lives out of town. I've carried this by myself with nobody knowing for 2.5 months, almost 3 months. And so I'm dealing with this. So the walking and the physical working out helps to move those emotions. And every time that I felt my heart racing or anything, I would get up and go to the park. If that meant I went 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I went 3 times a day. Mm-hmm.
So you responded in a way to, because sometimes people respond, but it's not always in a way to help them. They just respond and go lay down, or so that movement was important. And during that season, so you know that you did some physical work, and you started off with just speaking with your therapist, and you said somebody else.
Nobody, me, God, and the
Oh,
therapist.
God. I was like, you said somebody else. God. Okay. So then how would you say that community played a part in your process? because I know you showed up on the scene with us. You've been rolling with us with the Decide Tribe for probably December was a year that and you guys, and I'll say this, and I'm not at all trying to take no credit at all, because I go to church with, we serve on this big thing they do at church every year, and I just said, hey girl, you should come to my event. You don't know, and God just led me to say, hey girl, you should come to my event. You don't know what people are going through, or why God is nudging you to connect with people. Maybe it's a call, maybe you just don't know. So I believe that it has the community has made an impact for you. But how would you describe coming to that event and then deciding to continue to come to Decide, that played a part in your wellness during the process?
So coming to that event initially, what it did was introduced me to what you always say in the beginning that your goal is to bring women together in a room with like-minded women, to help them be the better version of themselves. And that really what it did for me. It put me in a place where my community was in that room, and I didn't know it until I got in the room. So if I hadn't have taken taken you up on the offer to come, I never had the chance to meet who I needed to meet in the room. So that was just the initial step, right? And it got me in there, and it has helped. Like in 2025, the vision breakfast, right? January 2025.
Right.
Because, my world turned upside down in December. So that would have been 24, right?
Right.
January 2025, I started coming, more regularly to the events. And I, honest to God, to whoever is listening to this, like January, I cried all the way to Vision and cried all the way home.
Mm.
Valentine's Day, cried all the way there for the Valentine's Day. People would have never known it that sat at the table with me if they remember. Like I am a living example of you don't look like what you've been through. Like you literally are looking at it. Cried all the way there and cried all the way home. I didn't care how many times I had to cry to and from the event. I wasn't going to stop coming because I knew that the room had what I needed. So whatever it took to get in the room.
Right. And then I would say this, she didn't know anybody in the room other than me when she first started coming. And I'm not saying that for me, but I'm saying is sometimes we won't go because we think we don't know enough people, right? So she was open to get a different feeling than what she's been feeling, hoping that was going to be in the room, and realize, okay, it is in the room. And the relationships that she has built as a result of it, of her willingness to come. So, I mean, all we hearing is you were like, I am not going to be depressed. I am not going to be sitting down. It's a fight. And a lot of times people don't realize they have to fight their way through it as well. So, Vera said earlier, I want to commend you on your resilience to persevere in spite of. It goes to show that when we have vision, we can move mountains. Pam says, my community was in the room. I would not have known it until I got in the room. Profound. Ooh, yes, that was a good one. Definitely couldn't tell she didn't know anyone, right? She came in cracking up between her and Sam being at the same table, Lord. So y'all will meet Sam next week. But yes. And we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. But I'll make it make sense. We both listened to that. And they were talking about, last week, they were talking about your comfort zone and your known. They were talking about your comfort zone. And a lot of times we are in situations where people are calling our comfort zone. We're not comfortable there. We are not comfortable there. So we call it our comfort zone, which I think it should be called your known zone. You just know it. But some people aren't willing to go charter into those territories where they don't know people. It's the unknown. At least if I stay at the house, I'm bored, but I know what to expect here. But when you go into an environment, you have to be willing to go into something that you don't know, not knowing that really what God may have there for you, waiting for you, that you didn't know. How did you find your therapist? Somebody had said, how did you find your therapist?
Okay. Oh, that's a good question. So this go round, because mind you, this is the second time that this has happened, not the first. But my response to it this time was different. This time, instead of me trying to be the savior of the situation, I ran to two things. I ran to God. And when I pulled up, the therapists that were in my network, as I was looking at the names, I literally was on the computer and praying and asking God to lead me to the therapist that I needed to guide me through this season. Just so happened, the therapist that I reached out to ended up being wonderful, but unbeknownst to me, she's also a minister. And that's what I did. And I promise God led me. Like I sat at the computer, I know about an hour and 30 minutes just looking and reading through their credentials and information. But I was like, I'm going to go to therapy, but I am going to call the therapist that God leads me to. It's
Mhm.
not just going to be anybody. I didn't even feel like that I had time to do a trial and error. You have some, hear people, well, I tried one therapist, I didn't like them, and then it turns them off from ever going to therapy again. Because I've been to therapy before. But this time I wanted to go to a therapist who was gonna stick with me for the long haul because I knew that what I needed to build in this season needed to be built on God's word. I needed a solid foundation. I was like, no more quicksand, no more quicksand. I needed a solid foundation because that was the only way that I was going to build for the next season of my life, whatever that season was. So I hope that answers the question.
Right. Awesome. Was that good, Camille? Any other parts of that? Share from you.
Yeah, that was good. It really was because I've been like it wasn't a good fit. Like I'm like, did you know someone or that was good that God led you because I've had some bad, that
Mm.
it wasn't a good fit. So I was just curious. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, if you how would your journey have been different in 2025 had you not found the community?
There is no way that I will be where I am today if I didn't have the community. And even for that, in my brokenness, because this time I'm telling you, I had another sense of determination. Like I've always been determined, but it was like determination on steroids this time. Because even in my brokenness, and let me be abundantly clear, I am healing. I am not healed. Those
Mhm.
are two different things. Okay. So let me be very clear. But going back to the question, like if even in my brokenness, I prayed in the beginning and asked God to send the people that I needed. And majority of the people who were a part of the village were people who I'm already connected to. And when it was time and when they were called, they were ready. That let me know that they were the people that was always supposed to be there anyway,
Mhm.
because God had already put in them what he knew I would need for this.
Yeah.
It was already there. They were no judgment, no feeling. Every time I needed a shoulder to stand on, when I didn't even have the strength to stand for myself, I have always had the community that I needed to stand. So if I didn't have the community, including the side tribe, because nobody in the room knew but you.
I didn't
Nobody,
know at first. I didn't know at first.
no, you didn't. And look how long it took me to share with you. Like no one in the room knew. So even just being in the room and how they poured into me without even knowing that they poured to me. Because then started hearing other women in the group who had been married and their marriage had gone through transitions and been married longer than 23 years than I have. And to see that they survived and they made it like they didn't know, but that gave me strength and hope to know that I was going to make it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. For someone who's listening, who's carrying both big goals, real life challenges into their next season, what words of encouragement would you like to share with them?
Oh, I listen. Okay, get your pen
Listen.
because I'm ready. Listen, Linda, listen. I'm ready. So, one thing that I would say, um, learn how to stop putting periods where stop putting question marks where God put periods. Because if he put a period there, it's for a reason.
Mhm.
I can't even remember who I was listening to, if it was a podcast or a sermon. I can't remember, but I remember hearing a speaker one time say that when God disrupts something, allow him to break it all the way down. Because it's not until sometimes situations can't be rebuilt. I don't even know if this one is going to be rebuilt, and guess what, I'm no longer worried about it. It's beyond me.
Mhm.
God got that. Okay. When he breaks it all the way down, sometimes things have to be broken all the way down in order for him to put the pieces back together to make a beautiful art piece. And Pastor Floyd, ironically, you brought up Make It Make Sense because you know I was going to bring that up too. So on the January 5th episode, talking about disrupting comfort, Pastor Floyd said he called it in something he was talking about divine disruption. That's what this, I feel like this was for me. I had some things in me. God already knew they were in me. He wanted to bring them out of me, but they couldn't come out of me unless the divine disruption happened.
It happened.
It had to happen. It had to happen for me to know that He is my source.
Mm.
It had to happen for me to know for myself that God is a restorer, He is a healer.
Awesome,
It
Trey.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it was, I'm trying to remember. It was a couple things that whole,
He put periods.
right. And that with that too, I always say, and when I was thinking about our conversation, you realize that was just the end of a chapter, not the end of your story.
Mhm.
Right. So sometimes we're acting as if this is it. No, baby, that's just it. Right. Versus realizing how it was not and sometimes it's not our initial intent because that's not where we thought we were going to be. Right. But with the pain, who was I with you? Like, who was I listening to? Sometimes that pain comes to help develop you, to make you stronger, to help you get focused more on God and the word. Like all of that is, they always say, get something from that pain. Don't just let the pain happen. Get some lessons, get something that you can take from that pain. And I always ask God, what am I supposed to take from this? Because whew, I learned to not say why me. I just like, what am I supposed, it's a reason. And then as much as I've gone through, you prepare me for something big. When the pain, like it's really something, like, what are you preparing me for? Okay, Lord. Okay, when it comes, I'm gonna be ready. But being willing to go through and not just, but bring something with you through the process. What lessons would you say you felt that you have learned other than is God is your resource? What other lessons do you think you have learned?
I've learned how to suffer well.
Mm.
I've learned how to suffer well. So now when the next situation happens, not saying that it won't hurt, but what God has given me, I have an arsenal of tools I can use now for the next situation. I've learned how to suffer well, and I'm thankful for that.
And would you agree in the process, as you sit here, it seems so graceful. In the process, it's not always that smooth, but you know you got to continue to move through the process.
And the suffering well is important, like you were saying. Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Since I'm going through it, I may as well get something from it. Absolutely, I want to get something from it, because what I do know and what God is showing me, that every tear that was shed, every shattered piece of my broken heart, every prayer that I prayed, He's going to use every bit of it. So why not get it? Why not get something out of it? Why not learn something well? He's the best at everything that he does.
Right.
At everything. There is nobody better than him than in anything.
Right. Right. Awesome. If someone asked, did you experience anger? If so, how did you handle it? That's a good question.
It is. I experience anger with myself, actually.
Mm.
Still have yet to experience anger with my spouse, but it's with myself, um for a number of reasons. The red flags that either I ignored or didn't see, or the being comfortable in my known zone, being afraid and not just letting the period be the period, and kept putting question marks, commas, and semicolons, or whatever it is to keep the sentence going.
But can that lead to blame, though, that you blaming yourself for something that you didn't?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, carrying bondage that never belonged to me in the first place. That wasn't mine to carry. And I can only speak for me. It was a big part of why the weight was so heavy, because I was too busy carrying weight that was never mine. I have enough, we have enough that we have to deal with in carrying our own stuff and dealing with our own stuff. So
Yes.
you talk about it all the time. Do we even have the capacity to eat, like, emotionally? Do you even have the capacity to carry somebody else's weight? Because it's a lot to manage our own.
Right. Question: did you ever question God?
I never questioned God. I never questioned him. I never questioned him, because I knew that this situation didn't catch him off guard. It caught me off guard. It didn't catch him off guard. I never questioned it.
Awesome. Auspices. Vera said, the joy that you have, you don't look like what you've been through. Continue miracles and blessings, from Vera. One of the things from conversations we've had prior to this happening, she didn't just started seeking God when this happened. So having some foundation, having a relationship, having all of that, I'm sure helped the process. And I would guess, in my not having a degree self, that your level, your knowledge of emotional intelligence, your already connection, already having some foundation, that you had something to pull from, right? Versus just, so we don't know what we're going to go through. I'm saying this to say, you guys, we don't know what our future holds. Don't wait to try to get some solid connection, get some, things in place and be responsive, because now we're in panic mode. Build that, get some. I tell people, I listen to a lot. Like I'm a motivational junkie. Like I listen to a whole lot to keep my head in a good space. So when something happens, I have something to pull from. So whether, it's words, songs, I don't care, like all of it, you have to have something. So when life is good, don't think that you can just keep going and not be, keep storing up something for the rainy day, the bad weather, when something comes. So I know, I told you guys, we had relationships since 2018, that she's been in the Word, her faith in God Now I do know for sure, because I've seen somebody this happened to, when her mom passed, her grandmother passed, is sometimes our heart and our head get disconnected. But there's nothing to reconnect if you don't have anything there. So I do encourage everybody, in this season, especially with so much going on around us, that it may not be this blow, but you can get a blow, right, in different ways, that we work on our prayer life, we work on our relationships, we work on our communities. You cannot, if you're out there thinking that you can do this alone, that you don't need anybody, no. Work on that, so when something happens, you'll have a good network of people that you can call on, or be able to cry on their shoulders, or just be able to hang with, that's going to keep you in a good headspace. So is there anybody else have any other question or anything else you wanted to share, Keysha?
Thank you for this opportunity. I was excited. This is how I know that God has healed me in a lot of places, even though I'm still in my healing phase, because I am finally at the point that I'm not afraid to share my testimony. And I was actually excited about sharing it, because it was um there is no way that Keysha could have done this in her own strength. I
Mhm.
guess I'll leave you with this. So, the version of Keysha that you're looking at now is all God. There
Mhm.
is no way that I could have done this, that I could have walked this thing through and overcome what I've overcome, had it not been for God's grace and his strength. There is no way. I'm not even strong enough to do it. I couldn't even pretend to do it on my best day.
So we celebrate with you your life coaching certification. And how many pounds have you released?
30. You know what? I need to get on the scale. I actually do, because everything is too big. I really think that I have gotten up to like 40. My goal weight was like 155, 160. I was going to be cool with that, because I want to be slim, thick, not slim.
So
With
she did that. She opened her business. She's been recognized in magazines. So when I tell you guys, she has celebrated, there's a lot that she has celebrated. And because it was being recognized in her area as the child care to watch. What was am I saying the right language?
Yes.
Yes. So it's very excited for you. Very excited that you allow me to be a part of your tribe, and being able to watch you grow through this process, and what you bring to us in our community. I do appreciate that. People love and laugh with you all of the time. So, but yes, so I want to bring this up in case we have any individuals that's definitely in the area. You may not be someone that is that have little kids, but you may know of somebody. So she is Keysha Hall on Facebook. Her business is It Takes a Village. I'm trying to get back to it. Follow her. The flyer. There we go. Follow her on and even if just follow her, share her flyer, share. That's how we can support each other, is by sharing it. It costs you nothing to share a post, nothing at all. But it gives exposure now, that individual exposure to your friend base, and you never know who in your friend base may need the services. And the same thing with us. And even if you're not local, this is a small world. You never know. You can be sharing, Wisconsin person sharing it, and somebody, they have a connection that has a connection, and all of a sudden, we be meeting people who went to school, and their cousin went to Case High School. Like, I run into that all the time. So please share, and always remember also, you guys, let me get through here, is that we share because we care. We are excited about some things that are coming up. Look for the announcement on the 15th, and keep Empowered by DS in your prayers, as there's so much we just want to do. Well, me and my daughters keep saying, wait, put that down. Just write it down. Just write it down. But I know, because my passion is strong for just helping women grow and keeping them focused. So just continue to pray for us that we do what God has called us to do, that we keep it, just stay aligned. My words for this year is align, become, and conquer. It's just staying aligned with all things, the relationships, the people I'm around, my time, all those things, as we continue to just live out what God has called us to do in the season of our life, and as we continue to all grow together. So thank you so very much for being on here tonight. I just want to see everybody. Yay, 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 yay. We thank you for being on. And next week, Sam is going to, she's probably going to crack us up as well. Between her, I'm telling y'all, between her and Keysha, we have to separate them. I don't even let them sit together at the events anymore. But we have a great time. So you guys have a great rest of the night.
Hey, Denise, just one thing.
Okay.
I just want to
Yes.
say to Keysha that through her whole talk, what kept coming to my head is she showed up for herself. She listened to her mind, her heart, and everything, and also to God, and she showed up. When I heard her talk about the palpitations and going outside, and every time those loud noises got in her head, she went outside, and I just want to commend her for that, because it takes a lot for someone to admit that that you do need to go to therapy and so forth. And I do commend her on that. And I know the hard work goes into child care, because I'm a child care director, and
We
Yes.
I wanted to shout out
Yeah.
my daughter and my son in love have logged in. So
Yeah.
shout out to the Smiths, Henri and Marion Smith. They took and listen. Yay.
Yay. We love a supportive family. We love a supportive family because you don't have to do it. You don't.
Hey.
Hey, part of my why. This is why. This is why it was important. Another reason why it was important for me to heal. When your children have a front row seat anyway of your life, you may as well give them something worth looking at.
Right. Right. And something worth them learning from. But they can take it on as well. So yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Maxine. Thank you for all that you guys put into the chat as well and be a part of the conversation. So you guys have a great rest of the night and appreciate you guys getting on, and see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
good night.
Good night.